Is it too late to start an Airbnb business? Is it the wrong time to start an Airbnb business? There's a lot of stuff going on that would make you kind of cautious to dip your toe in the water right now. I have people asking me right now, Sean, should I wait? Should I never? Talk to me about it. So let's talk about what you can do to make sure you're making the right decisions, because there's a lot of data that says that you should not start an Airbnb business. And I don't want to just brush it off. Let's address it in this video. My name's Sean Rocky, G Airbnb Automated. Let's get you ready for the future of hosting if you do it. All right, welcome back, Airbnb family. How are you guys? Hope you're well. I hope you're healthy is one of my big concerns for you all right now. You might be getting a little sick, right? There's a lot of people getting sick right now. There's this bug going around and it's been blowing up in the media. I did a few videos about it already, you guys know, teaching you how to clean your homes and disinfect homes from viruses and stuff. And it shall not be named because each video that I even say the word, it gets demonetized. And I need to pay my video editor, so I'm not gonna say the word of what people are getting sick from, just so that way my editor can get his pennies from your view and your like and your subscribe. If you love these videos, let's give it a like. And I'll see you guys in the comments. Let's talk about this, because you've been asking me, is it too late to start an Airbnb business? And with this whole pandemic going on, should I not do it right now? So the question is how long is this little dip going to last, if there's a dip? And what are some other things? Because the facts: airports are closed. Airbnb has an extenuating circumstance policy that is giving people full refunds on their reservations in certain areas of the world. Airbnb invested into a company called Lyric, and they just laid off a third of their workforce, and they're canceling 20% of their leases. They're downsizing. Sonder's losing money. The biggest player in the game, they're losing money. And this slow season, it sucked a little bit more than normal. I'm gonna be honest, it sucked. But we still made money. Is the point. We still made money. So let's talk about this. Why do you think, or why do we think that Sonder's losing money and Lyric had to downsize? It's quite simple, and this is how you're going to make your money if you're an Airbnb host. So if you're an Airbnb host right now, this is what's up. Now, Airbnb invested into Sonder. No, they invested into Lyric, and I think they just invested into Zeus, and Sonder has already gotten $400 million of funding already, and they're worth $1 billion. All of these companies, including Airbnb, is a tech company. Dun, dun, dun. Aside from maybe Zeus. Zeus might be figuring it out, right? We haven't heard any negative press about Zeus. So what the problem is you've got these CEOs from these tech startup CEOs that think they know everything. They think they know what's going on. And so they've invested in a business that's based on hard assets, right? You're talking about buildings and furniture and people coming in, and we're selling time. I talk about this a lot. We're selling time. We're not selling a software stack, right? We're not selling software as a service, and we're not actually in real estate, so we're not selling the building itself, but we're selling time, we're selling accommodations, we're selling hospitality. And so these tech companies are trying to grow their businesses like tech companies. They're like, just burn a bunch of money, let's hire engineers. Did you know that half of Sonder's staff are engineers? What does a company like ours need from a bunch of software engineers? I don't have a single full-time engineer. I actually write a lot of my own code myself, actually. I wrote a little code that opens doors. So if somebody comes in after midnight, they just hit 4 digits, and instead of calling my phone where I unlock the door, my computer does it for me. A little bit of code. So technology can help. You can be tech assisted, but geez, half of your workforce in a 4,000 door, 4,000 rental apartment business, half of your staff is engineers. Yeah, of course you're losing money. What do they actually do to drive the bottom line? Those engineers don't go convince somebody to stay at your place, do they? You still need people staying in your space. You need heads and beds, is what hospitality calls it. So a lot of these businesses are hiring revenue management professionals from the hotel industry. They're starting to figure it out. They're starting to realize that they're selling time. But they're all doubling down on this idea that tech is the future, right? And so if they're wrong, which I think they kind of are, they're just going to continue losing money on their tech ventures, and they're never really going to master the art of getting people to want to stay with them as a hospitality brand. See, I don't think these people are really focused on that hospitality brand. See, the Ritz-Carlton crushes stuff like that. They'll remember if you have an allergy, they'll remember if you like a certain type of chair, and the next time you book with the Ritz-Carlton, they'll bring that same chair in. They'll remember if you had a dog, and they'll leave dog treats. See, the goal is to give you a magical experience, just like Disney. They're selling you experiences, the best times of your life. They're selling you your time, the quality of your time. And so that's why these guys are losing money. So when you see these in the headlines, I want you to think about that, because if you're going to jump into the Airbnb space, you should really consider that you're going to be putting a home up for rent so that way people can stay in your city for a period of time, and they need to enjoy themselves. They don't need all these cool technology bells and whistles only to find out that your housekeepers are poorly managed and the place was dirty when they arrived. Or that some bot always says the same thing every time that they send a message, be like, somebody from our team will be right back with you. Somebody from our team will be right back with you. Technology can really suck, and it can frustrate people. I'll tell you, I hate AT&T because their call center system, it's like the worst. Their technology sucks. So you can actually get people to not want to do business with you because your tech sucks. There's a risk. But the human element is the key. See, where Airbnb did this right, and the reason why they grew so fast, is because it was about connecting with people. Hey, stay at a host's house, right? Stay with the host, stay with a local, live like a local, have a local quality of life. Instead of just being stuck in a hotel, shelled off from the rest of the city in the hotel district, why don't you stay in Little Havana and actually have some fun? Go dance a little salsa with some locals, you know? These are some things that they've always tried to sell you. Stay in really unique spaces with unique people, living a unique experience. And they grew on that. So any company that's trying to strip that away is inherently doing it wrong. Be careful. So now, with this whole bug thing, with this whole sickness thing. So now if you've seen my previous video, I talk about how Cancun had a drop of 75% of their hotel occupancy. They went from 75% to 20%, so there's a 55% drop. Now this lasted. It was a spike and it corrected. So this lasted for about 6 weeks in total. It affected 1/4 of their financials, but it dropped their total tourism revenue by about 4% in 1/4. So the thing is, if you're thinking about starting an Airbnb business, you're probably right on time, because our first outbreak was in January, I think. Was it mid-January, mid-February? It's been a while. It's been more than a month since the scares started. So we've got about 3 or 4 more months, I think, until everything goes back to corrected. Because the way that this works is if everybody in the world is getting sick with something that becomes less and less scary over time, in about 3 or 4 months, everybody's been like, oh, it's just like the flu. We've got another thing. We've got another cold we have to deal with. So guys, make sure you take your vitamin C and watch out for the new blank blank season. Just stay healthy. It's inevitable, but that's the way it's going to be. So in about 4 months, I think everything's going to come back to normal. But what you can do right now is take advantage of the scare. Price drops, occupancy drops. Find places where people are like, well, geez, we need revenue. Everything's going wrong, we need revenue. And when businesses need revenue, they'll start selling at a high rate. They're like, we're going to give you a deal. Possibly you can find landlords, possibly you can find buildings that are willing to give you a discount on rents or free rent concessions up front, because all of their business has slowed otherwise, and they would love to know that they have your money in their pocket. Desperation is a great way to get on the right side of a deal. People are scared, you pick up the deal. All right, you stay confident, let other people be scared. So in 4 or 5 months, I think Airbnb host revenue problems will all completely go away. We're gonna all be back to normal as far as this bug is concerned. But over the next couple of months, you might find some really good steals for picking up some properties. Then there's the question of oversupply, right? Oversupply is kind of this tricky thing, because what we have 2 adoption curves. We've got users that are adopting the Airbnb platform, and we've got hosts that are adopting the Airbnb platform. And you're probably asking yourself, should I be one of those hosts? Because the more hosts that get in the game, the more supply. The more supply, the lower on average people can get their bookings for, because it's the buyer's market if there's too many properties on Airbnb, is the point. Now, both of them are growing though, and each city they grow a little bit differently. So my favorite cities right now, I think, are going to be places like Detroit, places like Milwaukee, Midwest cities that are not Chicago, and then Sunbelt cities like Birmingham, Alabama, that are kind of like nobody would immediately go think about them. So I would really focus on Middle America. Sunbelt's always great because it has an easier slow season. Milwaukee and Detroit might have a really lull slow season, but if you do go up there, I already have a strategy for slow season in the winter. And so I have pricing strategy videos. We're launching a course that gives you all that stuff. I actually do have a mini course on pricing strategy. And so you just ride out the slow season with a different pricing strategy and you'll be fine. So there's gonna be so much money to be made in the summer. And then if you do it right in the winter, I think Milwaukee and Detroit are grand ideas right now. There's also the option to Airbnb internationally. I've got a buddy in Colombia, and he's got this whole turnkey system that if you wanted to buy property, you could invest with them. They would get you a property and then manage it on Airbnb in Colombia. You could do it yourself. You could do it in other cities too. But the point is you don't have to just focus on the US. There's hosts around the world that are making money on Airbnb. So if you want to protect yourself though from oversupply, there's also some things that you can do as well. So you could do your market research and look for cliffs. And what a cliff is you go on Airbnb platform, you go on the map, and you just search for just no other filters but instant book, entire place, 2 guests. Say that again. Instant book, entire place, 2 guests. Search the map over the area that you think you'd like to pick up a property. Write the number of listings down because it's going to tell you there are this many homes available. Increase that to 3. Refresh on the map. Same layout on the map. Refresh. Write that new number. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but keep that map right where it's supposed to be because it's only searching in the map area. And then you're going to have these numbers, 1 through 16. There's like 300 plus at 2, and there's like 13 properties at 16. But it's not going to be some straight line that goes down. It's going to be like this, and it's going to drop. And it's going to drop again. Those cliffs are where from 8 guests to 9 guests, or 11 guests to 12 guests, all of a sudden the supply goes down. It goes from 110 properties at 10 to like 45 properties at 11 guests. So now you'll know if you want to get into the market and have less supply to compete with, make sure that you pick up a property that can sleep 11 guests, and it's going to greatly affect your search rankings when you get into the market. That's one great way. Second is you can go bigger and compete in those, like, you know how I said there's probably only 13 properties that can host 16 guests. You can do the 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom move because companies like Sonder and Lyric, they really like apartments, and those are studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, right? So you can go with 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom homes, and that will insulate you against oversupply if they ever just come in and jump into your market. That'll help. Or you can try to be like me and be like this business guy that likes to perfect all of his systems, and you can compete on price and focus on studios. See, studios are about $1,000 less to furnish on average than a 1-bedroom internally in our business. That wall that separates the bedroom and the kitchen and the living room, that creates more furniture and decor that you need to buy, right? So if you do this correctly and do studios, they're more open, they're easier to photograph, and they cost less to furnish. So you can get in for less money, which means it takes less money to get your money back, to get profitable. Studios sometimes cost a little bit less money also than 1-bedrooms as far as your monthly rent goes. So now you have a lower operating cost, more open floor plan, they photograph better, and then if you do it like me and pick up a bunch of listings in the same unit, you're going to have housekeepers that work inside that building, and you'll have them in-house. See, even Sonder doesn't even have their own housekeepers. They still third-party out all their housekeepers, so their housekeeping costs are really high. But what that means is that they can't lower their prices enough to compete with you then if you have internal housekeepers. If your housekeepers are in-house, your final cost of cleaning is lower, which means you automatically can be way more price competitive night for night. And that gives you a big advantage, doesn't it? So you either compete on cost by making your systems nice and tight, or you do the big homes, so that way if these big companies come in and compete with you, you're gonna be safe. So that's a workaround for the issue of oversupply. Now, I will say, though, that oversupply comes and goes. Hosts will pick them up, hosts will drop their listings, people move in and out of town, so hosts may decide it's not worth their time anymore. Regulations can shift things, and the regulations can loosen up. And then Airbnb guests, they'll travel more, they'll travel less based on the economy or how they feel about Airbnb. And if you're smart, it's 2020, you're going to diversify your business model, so you're using Booking.com and Expedia and everything else, which we'll talk about in future videos. But by diversifying, you're no longer just, focusing on Airbnb. So the question isn't just should I start an Airbnb business in 2020, or is it still possible, or is it too late? But what do I need to do to be the most competitive in my business? Because I truly believe this is a great opportunity, but I think that you just can't be some average host anymore. You need to look at this like a business and look at all the factors of staying competitive. That way, you're insulated, you're entrenched, people can't take your lunch, and you're diversified. You're getting bookings from multiple places. So stay tuned for more on that, because I really think if you're serious about this Airbnb opportunity, you're going to want to go multi-platform. We're going to talk about the softwares that you need. Now, if you're just getting started on Airbnb, you want to create an account, I've got a link in the description. Airbnb now finally rewards me for you creating an account through my link. How cool is that? So I'd like to encourage you to look at that. And in addition, we just celebrated 100,000 subscribers, we're giving away an Airbnb property. So watch that video. I'll put the link in the corner here. So that way you can find out how to pick up an Airbnb property for free, compliments of one, because we're giving one away. So thank you for watching Airbnb Automated. I look so much forward to doing more videos for you in 2020. There's tons to come. So remember to like the video, subscribe, because there's more content coming. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything, and I'll see you on the other side.